Welcome to another episode of People Pod. Okay, so I want you to picture something for a second.
Ooh, setting a scene. I like it.
Yeah, just imagine a young girl growing up in the South Korean city of Gunpo. She's, spending her afternoons practicing taekwondo, playing a lot of basketball.
Right, just normal kid stuff.
Exactly. And she's telling basically anyone who asks that her big dream is to one day become a painter and a writer.
That's sweet. Very artistic.
It is. But now, I want you to fast forward to today. That exact same girl from Gunpo is currently generating hundreds of millions of dollars for elite French luxury houses.
Right, which is quite the pivot from painting and gunpowder.
Oh, completely. And she is receiving an honorary MBE, so that's a member of the Order of the British Empire directly from the King of England.
Which is just wild to think about.
It's insane. And on top of all of that, she is single-handedly shattering international album sales records and doing all of this while casually starring in a zombie comedy.
It is a genuinely staggering trajectory. I mean, you're looking at a level of cultural and economic influence that is almost difficult to quantify.
Because it's just everywhere, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It crosses into so many different industries simultaneously. We are talking about someone who literally moves global financial markets with a single Instagram post.
And that is the subject of our deep dive today. We are looking at Kim Jisoo, known to the world simply as Jisoo.
Right. Arguably one of the most famous women on the planet.
Yeah, and if you are listening to this right now, you likely know her as 1/4 of the absolute juggernaut that is the K-pop group Blackpink.
Which is a legacy all on its own.
Totally. But as we comb through our stack of sources today, and we've got industry reports, chart histories, some really comprehensive biographies in here, our mission is to look beyond just that group dynamic.
Right. We really want to isolate her individual journey.
Exactly, because we want to show you how her specific story is basically a fascinating blueprint for the ultimate modern celebrity.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, Jisoo's trajectory proves this massive fundamental shift in the global entertainment landscape.
Because it's not the 90s anymore.
No, not at all. The modern pop star is no longer just this, talented performer being managed and micromanaged by a monolithic agency.
Right.
What we are seeing with her is the rise of the pop star as an independent mogul. She is dictating global standards of beauty, fashion, and business strategy completely on her own terms.
And I think, if you've ever tried to negotiate a raise or break out of a rigid corporate structure at work or just figure out how to leverage your current position into something bigger, what Jisoo accomplishes is just the ultimate masterclass.
Oh, absolutely. It's a textbook power play.
But I feel like to understand the magnitude of her independence later on, we really need to set the stage for you first. Like, what does the ecosystem she actually grew up in look like?
Right, because it is very different from the West. The K-pop industry operates on this highly structured, famously intense system. They call it the trainee system.
That it's notoriously grueling, right?
Yeah, grueling is an understatement. It is a completely different beast from how Western artists are traditionally discovered. Young hopefuls audition, and if they are actually accepted by an entertainment agency, they enter a rigorous training academy.
So they aren't just like signing a record deal and immediately hitting the studio to record an album.
No, not even close. They spend years, sometimes up to a full decade, just perfecting singing, dancing, taking media training classes, and even learning foreign languages.
All before they ever release a single song to the public.
Exactly. It's all foundational work.
I always try to find a good analogy for the trainee system when I'm explaining it, and the best I can come up with is that it's like combining an elite cutthroat PhD program with an Olympic training camp.
That is actually incredibly accurate.
Right, because you are living in company dorms, you're training for like 12 hours a day, undergoing these brutal monthly evaluations in front of a panel of executives.
And if you slip up, you're out.
Yeah, there is absolutely no guarantee you will ever actually graduate to the public stage. You could put in 5 years of relentless work and just be quietly cut from the program.
And that is the exact high-pressure environment that Jisoo entered. And it was quite the pivot from her childhood, like you mentioned earlier.
From the painting and the taekwondo.
Right. She had those artistic dreams. She was a big fan of the boy band TVXQ. But then in 2011, she auditioned for YG Entertainment.
And YG's huge, right? Like one of the big three.
Oh, yeah. They are one of the absolute legacy powerhouses in South Korean entertainment. So she passed that audition in 2011. And that began her life in the grind as a trainee.
So from 2011 to 2016, she is just living in that Olympic-level pressure cooker.
Just constantly training and being evaluated.
But what's interesting from the sources is that she wasn't just waiting around for a debut date. She was actively building a resume before she officially had a job title.
Which is really smart. YG clearly saw her potential to connect with an audience early on, so they started testing the waters. Well, in 2014, she started making cameo appearances in music videos. She played a heartbroken girl in a video for the hip-hop group Epic High.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and she also appeared in a video for the duo Hye Soo-hyun. Then by 2015, she was already crossing over into television.
Before she even debuted as a singer.
Exactly. She landed a small role in the KBS2 series The Producers, acting alongside some of her label mates. So she was learning how to work a camera and a set long before she was officially introduced as a musician.
Getting comfortable with the industry mechanics. And then comes the launch, August 2016. All those years of unseen hustle finally pay off.
And they pay off massively. Blackpink debuts with their single album Square One, which features the tracks Whistle and Boombayah.
Two absolute anthems.
The explosion is just instantaneous. I mean, Whistle immediately tops the charts in South Korea. Jisoo is catapulted to global fame as part of this highly curated, fiercely talented foursome.
The group's success is historic right out of the gate. But for our deep dive today, what we really need to focus on is how she operates within that massive shadow.
Right, because standing out in a mega group is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, being part of a massive group is one thing, but carving out a distinct, massive, individual identity within that machinery requires a totally different set of skills.
Which she clearly has.
She does. And we really see this turning point hit its stride between 2020 and 2022. She starts breaking the traditional idol mold.
She stops just following the script, basically.
Right. It wasn't just about, singing the parts assigned to her anymore. She was injecting her own creative fingerprints into the actual machinery.
The perfect example of that happens in June 2020. So during the promotional teasers for Blackpink's single How You Like That, Jisoo's styling went completely viral online.
Yeah, she wasn't just wearing whatever a stylist handed her.
Not at all. She actually conceptualized and created this unique two-bow hairstyle. And she paired it with a very specific dot-style makeup look for the shoot.
So she originated the look. She's actually dictating the trends herself, not just acting as a mannequin for the brand.
Exactly. And the mechanism of how that trend spread is what's so fascinating. It sparked a massive global social media challenge.
Oh, like a TikTok trend.
Yes, celebrities and mega influencers across South Korea, China, Thailand, and Vietnam were all replicating her exact makeup and hair on their own platforms.
That is real soft power, just shifting culture with a selfie.
It really is. And speaking of dictating her own path, this is the exact same period where she branches into acting in a major, major way.
Right, stepping out of just the music sphere.
In 2021, she lands the lead role as Yoon Young-ro in the JTBC television series Snowdrop.
Which was a massive deal.
Huge. The show hits #1 on Disney Plus in multiple countries, and she ends up winning Outstanding Korean Actress at the Seoul International Drama Awards.
Okay, wait, I have to challenge this a little bit based on how the industry works.
Sure, go ahead.
She's essentially a rookie actress here, right? And she's taking on a massive, emotionally heavy lead role in a major historical drama.
Yes, very heavy material.
So isn't handing a dramatic lead to a massive pop star just stunt casting by the network, just a cynical way to guarantee that millions of Blackpink fans tune in, regardless of whether she can actually act?
See, that is the exact stigma she was up against. That's why this move was so incredibly risky for her reputation.
Because everyone expects her to fail.
Exactly. The idol persona is heavily protected by these agencies. It is designed to be flawless, aspirational, and perfectly polished at all times.
And acting is not polished.
Right. Heavy dramatic acting requires the exact opposite. It requires vulnerability. You have to be messy, you have to cry, you have to completely break down on screen.
So it's a huge clash of personas.
Now, you're right that networks do stunt casts sometimes, but Snowdrop was created by the director and writer behind Sky Castle.
Oh, okay.
Which is one of the most critically acclaimed, intense dramas in Korean television history. They are not known for compromising their narrative for a cheap ratings grab.
So they wouldn't just hire her for the Instagram followers?
Exactly. For Jisoo to step into that specific environment, it required her to completely strip away the pristine Blackpink Jisoo armor. And winning that Outstanding Korean Actress award proves she wasn't just coasting on her fame. She was putting in the grueling work required of a legitimate leading lady.
That makes a lot of sense. And that acting success, plus her songwriting credibility, because she was doing that too, right?
Oh yeah, she also started proving her musical chops behind the scenes.
Right, she co-wrote tracks for the group, securing songwriting credits on Lovesick Girls from the album in 2020, and then, yeah, from Born Pink in 2022.
So she's not just a performer. She's establishing herself as a true multi-hyphenate, trendsetter, award-winning actress, and songwriter.
Which really sets the stage for the most crucial turning point in her entire career. This brings us to the solo explosion and her move to true independence from 2023 to 2026.
This is the era where we see the transition from an employee of a massive agency to a true independent CEO.
Okay, so let's look at the solo music launch first, because the data in our sources here is just wild.
The numbers are unbelievable.
In March 2023, she releases her debut single album called Me. Can you break down what actually happened when this dropped?
It completely shattered the ceiling. The album sold 1.03 million copies in its first week alone.
Just in week one.
Just week one. To put that in perspective, she became the first female K-pop soloist ever to break the million mark in a single week.
That is just unheard of.
And the lead single, Flower, debuted at number 2 on the Billboard Global 200. It logged the third largest streaming start for a debut track in the chart's entire history.
Over 1 million copies in a single week for a solo debut. I mean, that is Western megastar territory. That is Taylor Swift, Adele level influence.
It's the upper echelon of global pop.
But as crazy as the music success is, it's almost secondary to the business move that follows, right? Because late 2023 is when her original 7-year contract with YG Entertainment is finally up for renewal.
Right, and this is where we see the ultimate leverage play. The outcome of those closed-door negotiations was completely unprecedented in the industry.
What happened?
Jisoo renewed her contract with YG, specifically for Blackpink's group activities, ensuring that the Juggernaut group continues. But she walked away from YG when it came to managing her own solo career.
I feel like the best way to understand how massive this is to look at it like a corporate spin-off.
That's a great way to frame it.
Like, imagine YG Entertainment is this massive tech conglomerate, right? And Jisoo is their absolute star developer. She essentially sat across the table from the board of directors and said, look, I will stay on the board and help run our flagship product because I love my partners and our users.
Right.
But my new, incredibly profitable solo IP, I'm taking that completely independent. I don't need your infrastructure anymore.
Which is a terrifying leap to make. It requires immense confidence to walk away from the safety net, the legal team, and the global logistics of a legacy agency like YG.
And she didn't just walk away to figure it out on the fly. She already had the blueprint ready to go.
Oh, she was prepared. On February 21, 2024, she officially launched her own independent label called Blissoo.
Such a good name.
Yeah, and by January 2025, she had already signed a global label deal with Warner Records, specifically to distribute her solo music worldwide.
And the hits literally just keep coming under her own banner. In February 2025, she releases the EP Emertage.
And she breaks records again.
Right. She breaks the record for the highest sales debut of the year by a Korean solo artist. Combined with the sales of her first release, Mode, she crosses 2 million cumulative solo album sales.
Which is a massive milestone.
It makes her the top-selling female K-pop soloist on the Circle chart, which, for context for you listening, is essentially South Korea's equivalent to the Billboard charts. It tracks the absolute highest levels of commercial success in the country.
And she's hitting internationally, too. Under her own label, the lead single Earthquake hit #1 on the U.S. Billboard World Digital Songs chart.
Incredible.
And then later in 2025, she drops a duet with Zayn called Eyes Closed, which successfully charts on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100. So she built an infrastructure that allowed her to compete globally on her own terms without missing a single beat musically.
It's honestly seamless. But as we look at this empire she's building, we absolutely have to talk about how she yields this unprecedented cultural and economic power outside of just the recording booth.
Right, the fashion world.
Exactly. We have to talk about her fashion dominance. Earlier, you mentioned she moves global markets. Let's really look at the mechanics of that.
Yeah, so to understand her fashion influence, we need to look at how influence is actually monetized and tracked today. In the luxury industry, they use metrics called earned media value, or EMV, and media impact value, which is MIV.
I hear EMV thrown around a lot in digital marketing spaces, but what is the actual mechanism there? Like, how does a photo of a person turn into a quantifiable dollar amount?
It is basically a proprietary algorithmic calculation. So it takes a celebrity's post, say just a simple photo of Jisoo sitting front row at a fashion show, and it measures the raw engagement.
So likes, comments, retweets.
Exactly, all the shares. Then The algorithm compares that organic engagement to what a brand would have to pay in traditional, highly targeted advertising to get that exact same level of consumer interaction and reach.
Wow.
And then it spits out a dollar value, representing what that free post was essentially worth to the brand.
So her post isn't just a picture of a nice outfit, it's a highly targeted global ad campaign generated in a single second.
Pretty much.
And what do those numbers actually look like for her?
They are astronomical. As a global ambassador for Dior for just one Miss Dior themed show in the fall-winter 2024 season, Jisoo's 3 Instagram posts generated approximately $11.8 million in earned media value.
Just from 3 photos?
Yep. That single set of posts accounted for 26% of Dior's total EMV for the entire event.
Wait, one person generated a quarter of the total value for an entire global fashion event.
It's staggering. And it scales up for the whole year, too. Yeah. 2024, the influencer marketing platform, Lefty named Jisoo, the top fashion influencer in all of luxury.
Above everyone else in the world.
Everyone. She generated a total of $227 million in EMV for the year, maintaining a massive 5% average engagement rate.
Which is huge for an account of her size.
Right. Western stars might have massive follower counts, but K-pop fans mobilize and engage at rates that basically break traditional marketing algorithms.
$227 million in value just from her existing online and wearing the clothes.
It's hard to even wrap your head around.
It really is. And because she brings that much raw economic power to the table, the perks she gets from these luxury houses aren't just, a free handbag or a nice dinner.
Oh no, they roll out the red carpet in a way most celebrities never see.
They are bespoke in the most literal sense. Maria Grazia Chiuri, who is the creative director of Dior, explicitly cited Jisoo as the main inspiration for an entire autumn-winter collection.
She was the muse for the whole season.
Yeah. And when she turned 28, Dior didn't just send her a birthday cake. They manufactured a specific brand-new lip gloss shade just for her. They called it 031 Strawberry.
That is such a flex.
Right. And Francis Krekjian, who is their director of perfume creation, crafted a one-of-a-kind exclusive fragrance solely for her, complete with a personal note.
And she is doing this across multiple competing luxury sectors, too. She's dominating as an ambassador for Cartier, debuting exclusive high jewelry collections at the Louvre in Paris, while simultaneously fronting massive global campaigns for Tommy Hilfiger.
She's just everywhere.
There was even a moment in 2020 where trade journals literally noted that Dior's rapid financial growth in South Korea during the pandemic was directly attributed to marketing campaigns featuring her.
So she is the ultimate picture of untouchable high society glamour.
Completely.
But what I love about digging through these sources for this deep dive is finding the balance to that. Because to counter this high-fashion, diamond-draped persona, she has these incredibly human, charming quirks that keep her fan base fiercely loyal to her.
The contrast is quite jarring, actually, but in the best way possible. Fans know her affectionately by the nickname Turtle Rabbit Kim.
Which sounds completely detached from the world of Cartier sapphires and Paris Fashion Week.
It really does.
Yeah.
But she leans into it so heavily. When she collaborated with the mobile racing game Kart Rider Rush, plus Angie, she didn't just put her name on it. She actually designed items for the game herself.
Oh, she drew them.
Yeah, she sketched out a rabbit character named Chi-Chi, which was inspired by her own nickname, alongside a character based on her real-life dog, Dalgum.
That is adorable. And she finds other creative ways to be accessible, too.
Like her YouTube channel.
Yes. On her birthday in 2023, she opened a YouTube channel called Happy Jisoo, 103%. And it's not some highly produced corporate music video channel. It's just her doing regular vlogs.
Right, just wandering around London, eating food, hanging out in her hotel.
Just being normal. Yeah. But she opened it with a very specific structural purpose. Every single cent of the proceeds generated from the channel is donated to charity, specifically Save the Children.
It's a brilliant way to maintain a grounded connection with her fans while navigating the absolute stratosphere of superstardom.
It really is. But I think we do need to add some nuance here, because the narrative of modern celebrity isn't just a smooth, glamorous, upward trajectory where everything works out perfectly and easily.
Right. There are intense tensions here, and there are limits to what our sources can actually tell us about her experience.
Exactly. We are looking at the final, polished results of her business moves.
We read the press release that Blissoo has been successfully formed, or we see the announcement that she signed with Warner Records.
But what the financial data and the EMV charts don't capture is the immense pressure and uncertainty that undoubtedly happened behind closed doors.
Because leaving the safety net of YG Entertainment for your solo work is a colossal, terrifying risk.
If the new label fails, it's entirely on her shoulders.
Exactly. The mental toll of holding out for those contract terms, of betting your entire solo future on your own ability to run a company, is something the data simply doesn't show us. We see the victory lap, not the marathon she ran to get there.
That brings up another fascinating tension in her career choices, specifically the stark contradiction in her public personas.
Oh, this is one of my favorite aspects of her career.
Right. On one hand, the Korean Language Research Institute literally named her a standard for world beauty. They were comparing her global cultural impact to icons like James Dean or Olivia Hussey.
She attends Le Grand Dîner du Louvre, wrapped in exclusive Cartier Panthère jewelry.
She is the ultimate standard of pristine elegance. But then look at the acting projects she chooses to take on.
It's the total opposite.
She doesn't just play glamorous heiresses or fashion icons. She actively seeks out gritty, messy, profoundly unglamorous roles.
Like the zombie show?
Yes. In 2025, she stars as the lead in Newtopia alongside actor Park Jong-min. And Newtopia is literally a zombie comedy series written by the co-writer of the movie Parasite. She's running from the undead covered in dirt and blood.
And then she follows that up by making her big screen movie debut in Omniscient Reader, The Prophecy,
which is an action fantasy film based on a webtoon. She is swinging swords, fighting monsters, getting thrown around.
It is a very deliberate juxtaposition.
Yeah.
She is actively rejecting being boxed in by her own beauty standard.
I actually have a theory about this.
Well, let's hear it.
I wonder if taking on these messy, zombie-fighting, sword-swinging roles actually protects her sanity.
How so?
Think about it. When the entire rest of the world treats you like this fragile, pristine, high-fashion icon, where even your lip gloss is custom-made for you by Dior, maybe fighting zombies is her way of staying grounded.
That's a really interesting point.
Right. Because acting in a physical, genre-heavy thriller requires you to look terrified, exhausted, and visceral. I have to imagine that being allowed to be viscerally human and messy on screen is incredibly liberating for someone whose image is otherwise flawlessly curated 2004/7.
That is a very compelling psychological read on her career choices. By taking roles where she has to get dirty and literally fight for survival, she reclaims her humanity from an industry that often tries to turn pop stars into untouchable statues.
So, when we pull all of these threads together for you today, the grueling trainee years, the viral trends, the acting awards, the unprecedented solo contract, the bespoke Dior collections, and the zombie comedies, what does this all mean when we look at the whole picture?
I think it brings us right back to that young girl from Gunpo that we talked about at the start.
The one who told everyone she wanted to be a painter and a writer.
Exactly. Looking at the empire she has built, she didn't abandon that creative dream at all. She just found a much, much larger canvas.
I love that.
She paints with music, with film, with global fashion campaigns, and with high-level corporate business strategy. She writes her own narrative now, literally and figuratively.
She really did. And I think that leaves us with a final thought to mull over today as we wrap up.
The big question.
Yeah. We are watching a new generation of artists, led by figures like Jisoo, successfully bifurcate their careers. They are staying incredibly loyal to the fans and the mega groups that launched them, while simultaneously acting as the independent, ruthless CEOs of their own personal brands.
Having their cake and eating it too, basically.
Exactly. If an artist can pull off this kind of immense leverage, keeping the group alive while taking their solo IP completely independent, is the era of the all-controlling, monopolistic pop music agency finally coming to an end.
It certainly looks like the power dynamic is shifting.
Are we witnessing the birth of the pop idol not just as a performer, but as an independent financial institution? It is definitely something to think about. Thanks for listening to Papa Pod. Keep tuning in for more stories worth knowing.